Hi, welcome to the GF channel. Today's episode is more like review and a little modification probably of the power window system of the 626. The looks of it, we'll see if functions will change. This is actual module for Haima 2. Haima is the Chinese Mazda. Haima 2, I don't know, 2009 to 2012 or something like that. I'll post the link in the description. So this video is more like a review of this module. We're going to go through plastics, components, how they feel, how they work, what's missing, what's there, what's everything. First, let's go with the exterior. Well, if you notice, this button has a different color than the rest. Hello. I don't know if you can notice it on the camera, but on daylight it's actually quite visible. So if I decide to use it, I'll have to actually order another one to swap the button. Not cool. Not cool. Other thing you see, these are quite glossy. They look really cheap. These look solid and nice. But of course, this is a lot more modern looking with the glass symbol on them. And another interesting thing that you can actually see is this button. You see this button at the bottom is actually white. Well, this one is not, so let's actually peel them off. That's the original one. It's just black plastic. This one is the new one, white one. That's both good and bad thing. The good thing is this should be translucent, and voila. This means you can actually make it lit with a backlight. Unfortunately, you cannot do those because they do not seem to be the same case. The bad news is the translucent buttons, especially the cheap ones, they actually do wear off with time, and all of a sudden, especially when there is a backlit, you're going to start to see some light dots of light coming through. Not cool. Other than that, when you look at them like that, they are the same, mounting points are the same, height is the same, everything is the same. They're the same. They mount on the same place, they do look quite nice. I can actually go grab the rest of the interior. And you can see now, if I do this, this one actually fits perfect. And on the proper mounting spots. This one is hard to see, yes. So it will fit, it will look way better. The backlight of the button on the bottom is interesting if I'm going to be able to do. This instead of auto, it seems way better because my auto anyhow is half of it is not visible. Either it gets dirty or something inside, or the LED is actually too focused. I do not like it. This way it looks way slicker, way slicker. I like it. Okay, now let's open it and go check what's inside, do a review of the components inside. Okay, let's compare now the electrical components on these two boards. As you can see, quite a lot is missing. Places are the same of the buttons. PCBs look the same. LEDs are on the same place, actually the only LED. the original board has actual pin numbers written on the PCB. It has few more screws which are actually holding the connector, and that's for this side. For the other side, of course, it's a lot more different and interesting. So here, as you can see, the original one uses copper connector. Here, well, this one does not. Also, this connector actually has a screw, so it's not easy to go anywhere. While this one, it's quite easy. Cannot do it with one. I actually can. Now I did pop it off a bit. Not good quality. Same goes with a little bit of chopped plastic here. You see this one? This is the original one. There's actually no... Come on, folks. This plastic piece here is tight, while here on this one it's actually awful. And this means you can push this button and it breaks out easily. Very, very, very cheap made. What I do like about this, only the buttons, it seems they have a spring. When you press them, they return. While the original ones, they do not. Maybe it broke off, I don't know, but all of them are like that. So I really doubt it's the case. Anyhow, and now with the actual electrical part, these are the components only. You can see there are two relays on the copy, but there are lots of missing things. This is a hybrid integrated circuit which is missing. You can see it right here. That's the hybrid integrated circuit. It is responsible for automatic functions, among other stuff which I'm going to cover in a bit. You can see this connector is missing. This connector is actually part of the automatic function. It receives signals from the motor of the driver side window. So no connector, nothing automatic, but there's still two relays. Reason is with the schematics how it actually works. The driver side window motor is actually controlled by the relays. Whenever you press the button here on manual step, you connect the power to one of the relays, which then drives the motor. When you actually go all the way, so middle like that, then first step, then actually that's the last step. But when you reach the high end, you actually send a signal to this hybrid circuit here, which then activates the relay on its own and de-energizes the relay when it actually figures out, based on these signals, that the window is actually on top or bottom position, that it has stopped moving. So the relays are always active. That's why they are here, because the whole PCB print is copied and it's not going to work without those relays. That's why they're here. But there is no auto function for this one, sorry. The auto function is missing. So there is a resistor for the diode, for the LED. It's quite cheap, quite cheap. When I was looking at the photos, I saw that it has an additional pin here. You see, all the pins are here, while on the 6 to 6 one is missing. This one is missing. The function that this pin actually does, the missing one, on the Prema C, the facelift one, and actually even not the facelift, the Prema C, I believe, all of them, and the 323 probably facelift, or at least the sport version, Sport 20, they all have this pin. And what it does is there is this function called ignition timer off. When you actually turn off your ignition, you have about 40 seconds to use the module to close your only driver side, I believe, window. After that, after the 40 seconds are off, you cannot use your window. But if you open your door, any door, it's actually going to cancel automatically, so not even 40 seconds. You open your door, that's it. And this missing pin is actually the pin that is carrying the signal from basically this button here. So this is the way it's done. Here it's missing because I do not have such function. And I believe when I looked at the internet, it has an auto. Because of this, it has ignition off. But I thought, well, I don't know, in China maybe there are no such restrictions for auto return function. And if something gets jammed all the way up, for the window to go all the way up, but to actually return, I thought, well, maybe for that market there's no such restriction, so let's just they just made it cheaper and easier to maintain. But well, not. And now for the big surprise I have, let's first plug in the original module. So you might not see what I'm doing. Okay, so this is the original one. It is plugged in. The LED is not lit. If I can only find my keys, that will be always good. Somewhere are my keys. Okay, on the seat, of course, on the seat. So I now plug in the key, turn to ignition, and that's the LED. I turn off ignition, no LED. And no LED means you cannot do shit. Now, the new module, I'll just put off the phone to remove the new module. It's interesting, so I'm actually going to remove the key, and when I plug it in, you can actually see it is directly working. And I do not have any key here. So, not only it actually doesn't have any functions, but it has this amazing function of draining your battery down because of constantly lit LED. Not that it drains that much, but still, if you leave it for months, probably won't be able to start the car. So, bottom line, you shouldn't buy that module, but since I bought it, I'll try to actually go and swap the two. Where's my original one again? I'm going to place this inside of the other shell and see if it actually fits and it works. It should actually look at least way better. And so, physical dimensions of the board is pretty much the same, but a little bit difference. There's a little bit of tweaking needed in order to fit. The components are on the same place, they do look the same, but as you can see, the new board is actually a little bit shorter. It wobbles just a little bit shorter than the original board. Reason for this is the thickness of the plastic. You can see the new plastic is way thicker than the old plastic. Actually, the sidewalls here are pretty good. You can see the difference quite easily. One is way thicker than the others, and because of this is thicker, this needs to be actually shorter. So the possibilities are three to fix this. Either cut this, which I'm not going to do, that's just ridiculous. Switch the buttons, which I really do not want to do that. I don't know how to do it. Is there a spring? And I'm not quite comfortable with trying to do pray off buttons which are really cheap made. And so the third and final one is to actually remove some plastic out of here, so the original one fits. Okay, in about 10 minutes or so, with a knife of grinding, I was able to fit it in. So I only did this part down and up. It now fits. I'm going to actually close it and go to the car, place it there, see how it works. So, an issue arose when I actually tried closing this thing. I had to modify the connector here has these nipples, you see them on the side, and this connector does not, and both of the bottoms do have holes here on the same spot, but these were not that big because of the PCB being a little bit different size. These holes were actually in a little bit different place, and the PCB didn't want to fit, the connector didn't want to fit, and I couldn't use the bottom of this because these plastic fasteners here are a little bit down, and which means it actually squeezes more the PCB, which presses the buttons. So this is the only possibility, and just I had to make the holes bigger. Everything works nice. Let's close it and show you the unexpected behavior. That is actually how it looks like when it's assembled. I'm definitely not happy. There is something different with the buttons. Now I've placed the copy I've placed inside of the original shell. I basically swapped the PCBs. You can actually see problems, very big problems. This one is the only button that's actually working, at least noise-like properly. This one, I need really little touch and it clicks. In the other way it's better, but still. These do not have this problem, but you need to press a little bit more, not like the other one, somewhere here, but I am pressing at least with double the force than here. This is very gentle, and all of them do seem to have this problem. And if I go up and I release it slowly, it's not even releasing. Now it's released. So something is different with the buttons, because this is the original PCB, the copy PCB on the original buttons. Solid, nice, all of the buttons. So I have to open it again, see what's the difference with the buttons, with the way that the buttons connect with the switches. Something is different. Probably they are longer and they actually travel a little bit of press here actually makes them travel more. I'll see. And as I said, I don't know if it's visible on the video, but the legs of the buttons are longer, actually visible with the long ones here, which are for the driver's side window. This is way lower, that's the original, than this. This is way taller, way taller. And for the other buttons, they seem to be flattened with this thingy at the middle, which at the back, at the bottom, is different, so it's a little bit lower actually on the bottom for the back buttons, back windows, and they stick out a bit. But here it's flat, they do not seem to stick at all, those two, while here you can see them sticking out, the same thick, a little bit different, the same thing in the middle. Interestingly, here it's exactly the same as here, and they're all sticking, so all of them are actually longer. I believe I'm just going to grind them down a bit, see what happens. And let's check the button actually. Is there any difference in the buttons? Because maybe there's a key there. Let's see here. This button has some grooves inside of here and one on the outside, nothing here. This one seems exactly the same to me. No difference. The height, maybe? Height of those? Let's see. Yeah, no. Height is the same also. No difference in the height. Okay. No difference in height, no difference in thickness either. They are as thick. So the buttons do seem the same. Just these are longer. And because these do not have this return thingy, while these do, these are stronger, so they can actually withstand the leverage these buttons have. So I'm going to shorten them to be able to use those buttons, because the other solution is to actually remove those buttons from here, which by the way, this is the only thing that I like in this PCB and overall thing, and place them here. But I don't want to do that now. So let's actually grind these down. And that is how it looks like when I've actually shortened those. And it turns out not only shortening is needed, I know it's hard to see. There is grease which actually got mixed with the particles, so it's hard to clean. Anyhow, I'm going to apply new grease now. But not only I had to actually shorten those, but widen them also, because they were too narrow. And even with shorter one, it didn't have any space to wobble. So at the second you press the button, it actually activated. So now it seems fine. I'm going to install it into the car and show you the final result. And so that's the final result. That's how it looks like. This button, I actually did use my own button, because it turns out the translucent button kind of cannot quite solidly hold on to the button itself, and the button comes with the PCB. So this is the original one, so no backlit. Anyhow, it was going to be hard to do the backlit. That's how it actually looks like. And now see how it actually lids up. Much nicer, much nicer. I'm happy. And of course, this is a single. Press it all the way. These are all working just fine. I'm very happy. This is from my module, so this is working. All good. I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for more. Bye bye.